what we're gonna do is for the next 20 minutes, probably, we're gonna take a little second and we're gonna let some people ask some questions and we're gonna have a little moment so we can, you know, find out some stuff. But here's the only thing, just so we know. There are no, they've let me know, like just for time and for me coming, the questions can't be, can I get a hug or can I get a picture? Just because we would be here all night and not everybody, a lot of people came to see music, so they didn't just come to see you guys get a hug. So we're gonna do the best we can, but we're gonna just take a few questions for some people because I know some people have had some stuff they wanted to do, and I went on Twitter and asked if this was the thing, and they said it was a pretty good idea. So I want to try this for one time and see. So thank you guys for putting up with this experiment, and maybe we'll like it. Our friends Ed and Paul are actually both ex-military, and so if you want a hug, they're more than happy to hug you.
Ed! Pick me!
So whoever's up, just bring something up and let's do it. Let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a month ago.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm fighting it.
It's been a hell of a month though. You haven't even time to process it and you're here. That's amazing.
I can't feel half my body, but thank you. I just want to know how long you've been dealing with the autoimmune and how everybody is doing and all of that.
You know, that's without getting too deep into it, because as you know, it's something that we've been dealing with, and it's a good days and bad days kind of a thing, and we're trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think for me, what I'm amazed at is when people go through that thing with the resilience that happens, because you know what a good day feels like, and so you have so many bad days where you literally can't move, and then all of a sudden, if you feel good enough to move, you start wanting to do everything. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of amazed sometimes, just in general, how that feeling and people going through that can make them so resilient and make them stronger than they ever were before. And if you come out of it on the other side, then you're going to be a stronger person. You're going to be like fucking Iron Woman. So best of luck with everything for you. God bless. Paul, what do you got? Anybody? Throw it on over.
What was the inspiration behind Sidewalk Angels?
Sidewalk Angels was started by my wife and I about 10 years ago. You know, it started like we were working with Blytheville Children's Hospital. We had done a lot of work with Pets Alive, animal shelter in Middletown. And it was a no-kill shelter. And we went there just to give us a good day. Like, we just went there because we wanted to go to a no-kill shelter. We wanted to just go there, donate our time, and have a nice time. And we just fell in love with him. And we got our first dog, Tyler, from there. And right around that time, I had written a song called New York City Christmas. And I wrote it about, you know, it was right after 9/11. So it was about being in New York after 9/11 and the first Christmas after 9/11 and how I was feeling as a New Yorker in that moment. But in the middle of, like, while I was writing it, I was walking down the street, going to visit Clive Davis of all people to go talk about some song, and outside of his office there was a drunk preacher that was just standing on the street corner, and he was just going, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. That was it. And I went inside and I had like a 2-hour meeting. I come downstairs and I walk out, and the first thing I see is hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And I got in the car, and the first thing that said to me was, hear the sidewalk angels echo hallelujah. And when I brought it home to Marty, her first thought was Sidewalk Angels. She just loved that line so much. And she had already been thinking about wanting to start a foundation and wanting to do something bigger and wanting to not just be able to kind of, you know, help other people, maybe start our own thing so that we could find other grassroots organizations and kind of help them out as well. And so it kind of sprung from there. That wasn't bad, right? That was pretty not so bad. She does it better than I do. Hey.
So, quick question, as a musician, who do you want to see in 2015 yourself? Who do you want to go see in concert?
I want to see the Foo Fighters, David Gray, Ryan Adams. You know, like, here's the thing. I want to see songwriters because, you know, I don't care if you're super pop or if you're country. But if you write songs yourself from your life, then I want to see you perform them because I feel like it's going to mean something more to me when I see it. But other than that, you know, what I want to see is me out this summer touring with my band. Where's Paul? I don't know where Paul's at. He's up there. What do you got?
Hey Rob, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, man? Good voice, man. How you doing, man? I'm doing all right.
I'm doing fine.
All right.
Listen, it's a great thing you're doing tonight. I love this.
Thank you guys for coming too.
That's my son up there, Alex, up in the top row. First show ever was Rob Thomas.
Nice.
When he was only 7 years old.
Indoctrinate them young. I like that.
That's right. The question I got for you is, I must have fell asleep behind a wheel on this one. Where did you get Matchbox 20? Where did that come from?
Oh, Paul from Matchbox came up with that name. Paul was our drummer, now he's a guitar player, he's my best friend. We were going through a million names. We had a record deal already, but we didn't have a name. And we were gonna call ourselves Wood. I know. And one night we're like, I remember this. He says that he just remembers making it up, but we were in this place in Orlando, Florida called The Mill, which is like a bar that we used to play in as a local, when we were still Tap of the Secret, we would play there. And this guy comes walking by in like a jersey. The jersey had a 20 on it, and there's a bunch of patches, and one of them it said Matchbox. So he saw Matchbox 20, and we did the Kurt Loder test first. Like we imagined what it would sound like on MTV if Kurt Loder said, "Band Matchbox 20 is gonna," like that. But the real test was we looked over as soon as it came up the name, and we were rolling around in our heads, and we had a few beers, and we didn't hate it, and we leaned over to this drunk frat guy next to us, and we tapped him on the shoulder. We're like, "Hey, would you go see a band called Matchbox 20?" And he goes, "Matchbox 20!" And I was like, well, it sounds fucking good when he screams it. So I'm gonna go with that name, that's gonna work. And now, I don't even know that we like the name, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're born Todd, and you become 20 years old and you hate Todd, you're fucking Todd. There's nothing you can do about it. So, we're like, we are Todd now. That's just who we are. It's 20 years in, this is who we are. Eddie Knuckles, give it up.
Hi. Hi. When you write a song, do you work on the lyrics first or the actual music?
I work on that beer. I start with a melody. For me, it's like if I'm driving in the car, or just even in my studio, I'm sitting there and I start with something. And I just kind of, even if I build, like, I'll start with a drum beat, like, cause I'll be like, well, I feel like I've been really morose this week, so I want to write something upbeat. So I'll get a good upbeat kind of a tempo going, and I'll start building a track, but then I'll start working on a melody that's just, and every songwriter I know does this, it's just, not so careful. Like if it was Bent, it would have been, Thomas, can I feel like it was don't tell me that could ever, I'll see my never, I bet, like, and you start working on the melody, and then you get one word, I'm bent. I like that. Then you start working through that. So I think it goes, for me, usually, melody's kind of the key, right? Because the melody you hum forever, and then you just spend your time making lyrics that count to fit in there. So, that's okay. Not everything's clappable. It's okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh my God. Yes.
I was wondering if the song Little Wonders was inspired by the movie Meet the Robinsons.
A little bit. When they asked me to write a song for that movie, I saw the book because the movie wasn't finished yet. So it was based on like a short book, and I got to see the book. And but it was actually inspired by my dog Tyler. who passed away. Like we had a moment that he realized that we were having, but I didn't realize at the time. And so I just kind of, it made me realize that there are a lot of moments that happen in life that just, you let them go by because you're so busy. You have moments with your children or your parents or your family and people, and then you let them go by because you don't pay attention to them, and then you wish you could have them back. And so Little Wonder was kind of based on that. I wrote it about my dog.
Hello.
Hi.
Gillian from Arizona.
Yeah. How you been?
Can you let us know when the first single's gonna hit? Have you confirmed anything yet?
Ooh, okay, I'll tell you this. We just had this meeting today. I believe, as best as I can say, I think that the single's gonna hit at the beginning of the summer, and I'm gonna go on tour and do a tour and have the record out around the end of the summer.
What happened to February?
Ish, does that make sense? Is that a safe thing to say? I'm looking at the boss. Does that sound about right?
Okay.
Okay. She says it's okay.
Hi there.
Hey, what's up, brother?
First of all, you're the reason I became a singer. I'm a singer myself. So
Oh, that's the coolest thing ever. Thank you,
I wanna
man.
say
That's
thank
the
you so
nicest thing
much.
I could ever hear.
Your songs got me so late.
Right.
So,
Me
but I just wanted to know, as someone who made it, you know, I didn't make it, but you did. So when was that moment when you were like, I made it?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I mean, I guess for reals, like, not getting, like, metaphysical and, like, well, I don't know if I feel like I've made it at all, you know, like, when I really realized that this was a sustainable career, to say, you know what I mean, was probably, like, I thought it was Long Day, because Long Day was the first single, and it was our first time that we had a video on MTV, and this is 90, this is almost 20 years ago. MTV was king, like, just getting on MTV was the biggest thing ever. And we had this video, it played on 120 minutes too, because at the time we were alternative, who knew? And we thought we were the fucking, that was it, right? But we were still playing to like 200 people, you know? Like, we would play clubs in San Diego that were like these punk clubs, and there would be like a punk band before us, a punk band after us, and then while we would take the stage, everybody would just leave and go have a cigarette outside during our set. And then we'd come back, you know, then they'd come back in for whatever, and we're like, well, come on, we're good. And so, but when Push came out, we went to Birmingham, Alabama, and it was one of those things where, like, the record was starting to kind of tank. Our label was about to let us go. Like, they were saying, sayonara, we can't afford you anymore. And Push, one station, because this used to happen, this can't happen now, but one station in Birmingham, Alabama just started playing on their own Push. Like, we like this song, we're gonna play it. And it blew up in like a week. It became the biggest song in Alabama. And we showed up in the same tour that we're playing like 200 people, and the place has a line around the block. And we're just like, it's like we were just sold out. Everything was, you know. And literally from that day on, it's been a good progression. You know what I mean? And but it really was that moment where that happened. And when that happens though, you're still like, you're never the artist you want to be. And if you are, that's when you start to really suck. You know what I mean? Like, you're never the person that you want to be. You get there to a plateau you never thought you'd get to, and then when you finally get there, you go, oh, but look at that, I fucking love that. You know, and then you hear that one song that makes you go, oh my God, I've never written anything as good as that. And you want to go try and chase that, you know what I mean? So like, even like, no matter what's happening, if you're chasing, that's still around the corner, man. You know what I mean? And you know, there's been plenty of people that are in their 30s that all of a sudden just write that fucking magic song, and then the world turns on to it and it happens, you know? So there's never a moment where you stop trying to find that magic, ever.
Hi, Rob. It's our fourth year here at your concert, so
Thank you.
Just keep doing it. You're welcome.
Mine too.
Being that you've been married to a beautiful Latin lady for 15 years, just wonder if you speak any Spanish.
Well, let me tell you this. No, but my Christmas present this year was Rosetta Stone. So, ask me this question next year, and I'll answer you in Spanish.
Hi, Rob.
Hey. what's up, Doc?
How can any one person be so amazing? No, that's not
Oh,
really
yeah,
a
right,
question.
yeah, no.
It's kind of a personal question, and I only want you to answer it if you're comfortable, and if you're not, I have another question
I'm
for
already
you.
nervous.
Well, you know what I do for a living, so. I'm just curious about your relationship with your father. I've never heard you talk about it. If you're comfortable sharing about what your relationship with him was like in the past. No. Next question.
My father is a really, really great man that I'm not very close to. Do you know what I mean? But I believe that all of my traits that I kind of really like about myself, I got from him. You know, and I think my wife and I have that conversation a lot. It's a good question.
I followed you as a geeky little freshman, and now I am in my 13th year of teaching, and your songs I've felt so many different layers. And just wondering, have you ever gone into like the middle school or high school educational setting to talk to kids, or ever thought
I'm
of
not
it?
allowed within 50 feet of a middle school. I can't talk about it, but... No. It was right there. It was right there. No, you know, I did just recently, I went to NYU, Mike Erico. Yeah, the Clive Davis, it's Mike, right? It's Erico. He teaches songwriters is in college level. But I think that's something that I would love to do. I think that, we're in a time where, you know, just like everything else if you're in a school and funding gets cut, art is the first thing that gets cut. And so people, you know, they don't get to learn music, they don't get to understand. And art, everything else in our life teaches us how to communicate. Everything else in our life teaches us how to interact with each other and to make our lives. But art makes us human. Music, you know, music and art and film, and those are the things that make us human. Those are the things that make us kind of understand how people relate to each other. So I would be more in tune with doing that for sure. I think we're starting to wind it. We have to wind down because I want to play more songs. This is fun. I'm gonna take two more questions and then I want to play some more music.
Robbie, what's up?
Hey, you know what? I hate Robbie. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just totally fucking with you.
Alright. So, I work in a gym, and my boss told me the story. He could have been fucking with me, and if he is, that's awkward. I'll sit back down. But, so he told me one time that he gave you a pair of shoes when you were running on the treadmill. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, no, but keep telling the story.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Somebody gave me a pair of shoes.
You run on a treadmill, you had Converses. The soles were ripping off.
That could have happened because it would have probably been 20 years ago. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a 5 or 10 year period that I don't remember very well. Like, let's just all be honest, I don't remember it very well. Somebody handed me the keys to the car and I drove it around the country for about 5 or 10 years and did not remember little pieces of it. And that could have been one of those moments. So I wouldn't call your boss a liar. I didn't remember it.
Okay, well, he told me that he used to, I guess, train you. So I was just...
Well, you know, the good thing, I do pee indoors now, so that's a good thing. I feel trained. No, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
It was.
All right, I'm sorry guys, last question, because I really want to get back to music.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I'm like all the way over here. I can't even do it. I can't. He's like a special ops guy. He will kill you right now.
Oh my god, I love you so much. I'm so crying. I follow you everywhere. I love you so much. You make me so happy.
Run, Rob!
Ed?
I'm sorry, I came here from the Bronx with my boyfriend. He always takes me to see you.
You're a good man.
I love you so much.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Julian.
Julian.
Yeah.
Do you fucking hate me?
To be 100% honest with you,
I would fucking hate me, man.
man, but she blasting music all the time in the car.
I would, brother. That would hate me. I totally get it. Listen, I promise you, if we had a beer, we'd be cool. But I apologize, man. I'm sorry. I know.
You're awesome. You're cool now. You're on the cool guy list.
He's okay with it, don't worry. No, my question is, I saw that you tweeted that you were watching I'm so nervous. You're watching the Twilight Zone marathon. What's your
every
favorite
year.
episode? I love it too. What's
Every
your favorite
year.
episode? Me too.
We sit down and we have to watch it all, like the whole marathon. It's the best thing ever. All the black and white old Twilight Zones, they're so completely fucked. Yes. That was a question. Yes. The answer is yes. Julian, my favorite? Oh, that's a good one. You know what it is? My wife and I, we love Midnight Sun. The one where the woman thinks that the world is ending because it's getting hotter and hotter, but then she wakes up from a nightmare, but it's actually getting colder and colder, but she's still dying. Because we like that dark shit. All right, we're going to play some music, man. Thank you guys.